Established during Britain's colonial rule in the 19th century, Sri Lanka's tea sector is one of the largest suppliers of quality teas to the world market. Tea accounts for 13% of Sri Lanka's total export revenue, making it one of the country's most important commodities. However, the competition is fierce, and new players are emerging in Africa and Asia, offering tea at much lower prices than Sri Lanka can produce without compromising its high standards. Recently, a handful of Sri Lanka's leading tea estates have taken steps to transform and modernize a sector deeply rooted in its colonial past. In estate tea factories, 100-year-old machines imported during British rule are now powered by solar panels and hydroelectricity. The use of fossil fuels has been reduced by replacing trucks with zip lines and other carbon-neutral means of transportation. In the fields, pesticides and fertilizers have been replaced with organic alternatives. With its 14 estates covering 6,500 hectares of land, Horana Plantations is one of the largest private land managers in Sri Lanka. According to Johan Rodriguez, its director and chief executive officer, sustainability is key to the survival of the tea sector.
We hold on to huge masses of land, and water is something that is scarce. With climate change here to stay, we find that the differences are affecting our crops very badly. So our livelihood depends on the input and the intake of our crops. So we have to look at our soils and our ecosystems to ensure that we carry on these plantations for the future generations to enjoy as well.
22 rainwater harvesting ponds have been established to collect rainwater, which is diverted to plantations during the dry season and channeled for use by the communities living on the estates.
So that's one of the biggest challenges I have, or we have as a plantation industry right around Sri Lanka. If we do neglect our ecosystems, if we do neglect our water resources, we are going to have a major issue in our hands. We can see it right around the world. Some of these areas are having prolonged droughts. Some areas are having huge floods.
Since 2022, more than 5,000 trees and 1,000 plant species native to the area have been planted, including a forest wildlife corridor connecting 3 estates. The Reforestation project, Green Planet, was created together with Sri Lanka's Wildlife and Nature Protection Society. Shaniv Ahangama, an ESG executive at Horana Plantations, explains.
In collaboration with the Wildlife Nature Protection Society of Sri Lanka, we identified areas along this tributary that we decided to reforest. And we mainly planted native trees along the whole area. And it extends 55 hectares, and this is a part of our upcountry project. WMPS helped us in identifying which plants should be planted. We got the technical skills from them. And this reforestation project was actually verified by Preferred by Nature and for the restoration verification standard, and being the largest project in Sri Lanka, reforestation project in Sri Lanka.
Established by Scottish planters in 1869, Bogawantalawa Tea Estates is another leading plantation company investing extensively in sustainable transformation, including environmental, social and financial initiatives. Branding itself as climate positive and beyond, Bogawantalawa focuses on inset rather than offset carbon. In 2017, it achieved the status of the world's first tea company, offering uncompensated climate-positive teas. Dr. Thusitha Bandara, Director of Sustainability Research and Development, elaborates.
The difference between the other neutrality and the uncompensated neutrality is what majority people do is they buy carbon credits from the local market and just neutralize their balance sheet and say that they are carbon neutral. But we haven't done in that way. We have developed our required carbon credits or GHG emission reduction within our value chain through the last couple of years, through the last few decades. And we have registered our projects to generate our required carbon credits. and we have achieved our uncompensated status.
Bogawantalawa's 6 estates are primarily powered by renewable energy. Electricity is generated from micro-sized hydroelectric plants and hundreds of solar panels covering bungalows and factory rooftops.
With the generation of electricity as well as solar, we have neutralized whole energy consumption throughout our value chain, because we have done an energy balance sheet for the energy consumption of electricity, firewood, and fuel. And those energy consumption has been neutralized or offset with our renewable energy generation. And we have achieved 100% renewable energy status in 2019. We are not going for offsetting, because if you want to do something to be impact at the ground level, you have to do it really at the ground levels. And the impact should be at a measurable level, impactful level, not just to play about the impacts. So we believe that if you want to do real sustainability, you have to be with that, you have to work with that, you have to achieve that one.
On its 16 estates, mostly located in the Dumbai Valley in Sri Lanka's Central Highlands, Talawakelle Plantations has introduced innovative measures to save fuel and energy costs. A zip line has replaced a 70 km lorry drive through the valley, reducing the carbon footprint from diesel engines. A hydroelectric plant generates more energy than the plantations need, with surplus energy sold to the national grid for a small profit. Kosala Wicheshara, Regional General Manager, shares.
9 months of the year, we use our own hydro. So generally, the tea factories, when you take the cost of production, the energy cost out to somewhere around 45 rupees to 50 rupees. Now this estate, we keep it under 20 rupees. So it's a huge cost saving that we have, almost 25 to 30 rupees we are saving on energy. So that's a lot that we save. And also what we generate basically 1 megawatt. It's a 1 megawatt plant. And 20% only that we will be using here, the balance we are giving to the government grid.
The sustainable transformation in Sri Lanka's tea sector has attracted attention internationally, giving rise to ecotourism. The Great Western Estate, another Talawakelle plantation, is located in one of the most picturesque areas of Sri Lanka's highlands. The iconic Great Western Rail now brings tea tourists to a newly erected glamping site, offering breathtaking valley views. The glamping site aims to improve the lives of the estate's 4,600 workers by providing more diverse career opportunities, says Krishna Ranagala, General Manager, Sustainability and Quality Systems Development.
Try to develop and create more job opportunities, especially in the green aspect, green jobs, and some other attractive jobs for the younger generation, because they expect that kind of variations and the kind of opportunities within their living areas. Therefore, this kind of initiative will be very useful in future to attract them back to the industry, because they have a portfolio of opportunities. Then they can select according to their interests. That is the main purpose of this diversification, like ecotourism, tea tourism, and some kind of nature-related initiatives. And finally, we call it as a nature-based solution, because this kind of initiative, it's not a very big thing, but it's a very interesting and unique initiative.
Dr. Roshan Rajadarai, chairman of the Planters Association of Sri Lanka, explains that the sector is facing challenges from competition, financial crises, government pressure, and workforce migration to cities. Despite this, he remains optimistic about the future of Sri Lankan tea.
In spite of all that, I still say Ceylon tea has a great future because of our industry itself. We are so unique, we are so diverse, we are so sustainable, we are so nature friendly. Right? We do regenerative agriculture, rejuvenative agriculture. Our people are skilled. Our product is uniquely different and high quality. So there is a segment that demands premium, high quality, ethically and sustainably produced teas. That will not go. People can afford to pay. And that's a market that we must cultivate. Our tea is so attractive that India and Kenya are now giving incentives and supporting their industries to adopt orthodox tea manufacture. That proof of the pudding is that. So they are supporting them and converting the CTC type of tea to orthodox type of tea. So if the industry professionals and industry players are allowed to manage the industry as an industry, then I think we have a great future.
While large plantations produce only 25% of Sri Lanka's tea, the remaining 75% comes from smallholders who may lack resources to adopt sustainable practices. However, one can only hope that the examples set by Horana, Bogawantalawa and Talawakelle will inspire broader change.